Welcome back to Ready Mix Gaming. Today we're just going to dive right into it and we're going to be playing a game called Absolum. So this is a game that I have been absolutely loving and I've been wanting to covering for a long time. I played this over Christmas and ever since then it's just been in my head. And it's just brilliant. It feels to me like this is the dream game that I wanted to play since I've been a child. It sort of combines, I'm trying to explain it from a way, it sort of combines side-scrolling beat-em-up action, so like your classic Streets of Rage and like the Turtles game that was played on the channel previously, but it also introduces like these roguelike elements, so it's a little bit like Hades, it's a little bit like games like Dead Cells as well. And it's just, it also reminds me a lot of Rogue Legacy as well, if you've played that, which is also one of my favourite games. I adore the original game particularly. This is brilliant, and it's done by the dream team of Dotemu, Guard Crush Games, and Supermonks, as well as Gamirror Games as well. So Dotemu and Guard Crush worked together on Shredder's Revenge, which I also mentioned that I loved. And just look at this art style as well. Like, it just feels so fresh. Like, this is a brand new IP. And it feels just so significant and important and just so, you can tell it's a dream project for this team, but you can also tell that, there's just so much importance just been put on this and the way it's just been treated. It's not been captured by the Switch, by the way, so I played this via the Switch too, and I've docked through the Switch. So this is the gameplay you've got right now. So as you can see, you've got these two characters here at the start. So basically, I'm just controlling the one character, but you can play this fully in co-op as well. So this will just be a solo endeavor. But in the first portion of this video, there'll be the two of us fighting, and then in the second part, it'll just be myself. But I've also wanted to try and experiment with both characters as well, so you can kind of see a little bit about how their fighting styles differ. So immediately you can see like you've got the typical sort of grab and throw and strike and hack and slash, but they also attacks use charge mana as well when they're hit, so mana also plays a part in this as well. So yeah, I mean, a little bit about this game. You fight as the outcast heroes of Talam in a fierce battle to retake power from the Sun King Azra's grasp. So basically it's described as a roguelike beat-em-up, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, like, it's essentially, the game itself really follows that classic Golden Axe feel, the Streets of Rage feel. Like, you've got the typical combinations there, the hits, the action points you can use in co-op as well. You can also work together with certain tandem moves as well. But it also has, you can see the Arcana there, so that's kind of like a special attack that's used to kind of, really get rid of lots of enemies in one go. But equally with this one as well, there's a roguelike element. So essentially, like with Hades, there are certain screens you'll get to as you progress through the game. That's mana, by the way, I couldn't collect, so it was full. And then you get, like, you can choose between different power-ups and ways to progress your character. So that could be like, improving your viability, improving your body damage. It can be improving your ability to parry, or it could be adding some more magical powers to your deck. You also notice there as well, by the way, you can deflect. So yeah, that's another cool feature here as well, where essentially you can defend yourself with A. I probably don't do a great job with that throughout this video, but we'll see. But this really supports that speed at which you can play these games. And look at this effect here. Like, this is just stunning. Really, really beautiful. The art style for me was one of the immediately striking things about this, and I think that made me want to play this game. But what's kept me is the gameplay. The raw gameplay just feels so beautiful. It's, again, to me, it just feels like a dream game, something I've wanted to play that maybe I didn't realize I wanted to play it. And I think that just describes this game in an essence, because it's so creative. And for me, this feels like, I think we previously talked about on the channel about the evolution of the side-scrolling beat-em-up. This Absolum feels like that. This is how you evolve this genre, make it relevant in 2026, and give it a new lease on life. And it's no surprise this has come from Dotemu and Guard Crush, honestly, because what they did with the Turtles was already pretty damn amazing. Yeah, so I mean, as mentioned, this is, I'll kind of let the story play out a little bit here. Oh, here we go. This is sort of the selections I've been talking about. So you choose a ritual, and essentially you've got 3 damage there for 3 seconds, 2 damage per rotation. So that just kind of shows you, like, that gives you an idea of the kind of like decisions you'll get to make throughout the course of the game. So yeah, it's it's just that comic book art style, right? It's just, it feels like fresh out of, you know, of reading a Marvel comic, you know, the one I picked up just from the store right now. It's so good, you know, and you know, I think that there's so much life and substance to these characters. They all feel so distinct. It's just, it works beautifully to me, and I think, you know, it's a great co-op game as well, you know. So I think this game is probably best played in co-op. But, you know, as mentioned, I am playing this fully single player, so, you know, you can definitely get that sense of how it definitely works really well. And later on, you'll see in the video, you can actually recruit mercenaries to come to your side as well. So while it's not just you and the two of you throughout the game, you can recruit people to your side who have, like, you know, limited time, you know, based on how much, basically once their health points go, they're gone, you know, kind of thing. So, you know, you have that sort of time together, but it can help you in a pinch if things are really tricky from scene to scene. But yeah, it's basically like, to me, what I think just the idea of combining these, you know, mechanics just works really well. Like, I think there are some combinations, and I think we're noticing this a lot in independent development now, where indies are really experimenting with what works and what doesn't. You know, they're trying to find those merges. There are some even that merge like 3 genres in one. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, you know, and sometimes, but I think this is a great example of one that does, because it just surprisingly fits, right? The roguelike element, you know, it keeps the runs fresh and interesting and different, while at the same time it also, you know, it puts in like kind of this modern twist on the game. And again, another great example of this, actually, obviously I've just been defeated there, so obviously this is kind of where the roguelike elements of the game really start to come into essence, because essentially, you know, death is just the beginning of the journey, standard thing, right? And you'll see now basically that you know, you kind of, each run benefits you over time, so you'll get permanent upgrades, but equally, you know, you'll be able to have permanent additions to your hub area. So there's like a massive hub area which we're going to explore now, but equally, you know, like your new characters will start coming to the hub as well. You'll gain new ideas, and you know, you'll gain new features and things, you know, new abilities. So it's, yeah, it all works really, really well in that sense of, you know, this is kind of just, this is a roguelite. It's pretty much. But I was just going to say as well, the thing that I've been quite impressed by as well is there already has been quite a significant update for this game. So basically the development team have added like a kind of a free content update for this, which they call Unravel the Threads of Fate. And basically it was like a patch 1.1, so it looks to me like they already have big plans for the future of this game, which is another reason why I really wanted to cover this, because I really want them to continue to support in this. I really want more people to play this and check it out. I think it's, as a recording of this video, it's actually on sale right now, so it's a great time to just dive in. It's brilliant, it's just so compelling, and you know, it just really gripped me. It's a game, like, you know, I find it difficult, like at this point in my time in my life where like I'm playing games, that a game to just continue to grip me and just keep me interested, but this one just really has. So yeah, you know, I'm more than happy to keep covering this one on the channel if this is a video people are interested in seeing more and more of the game. But going back into it, obviously I mentioned the Threads of Fate. So this was, again, was a free update. So essentially what you've got here is like, you've got like a mystic audio challenges. So basically you can add new modifiers to your run. You can change how the fight goes. You can have, you know, as a horde mode, multiplayer trials, boss run. There's even things like, you know, you can create your own mystic ordeals and share them with friends. So they've really tried to think about ways to prolong the life of this game and make it interesting for the long term, which I think was some of the criticism people had. They blitzed for it in about 20 hours and didn't feel like they needed to keep playing. Those crystals, by the way, are going to be useful for later on. They kind of like work as a currency for you to kind of purchase some upgrades. And I'm just going to explore the hub area a little bit now, so you can kind of get a feel for that. You'll also notice, again, very Hades-like. You'll see those little glimmers and stars. That's just, it kind of like progresses the story forward. You know, so I think that's, you know, exactly the kind of the what I mentioned there about Hades in that sense. There's some more crystals in that barrel. These are the collectibles that you can get over time as well. It's kind of like a museum to kind of like just look for everything that you've acquired so far in the game. It's just, the effects of this are just so beautiful. I will also change characters in a moment as well, so you can kind of get a feel for our other companion to see how he fares and how he plays. But yeah, this update as well. So basically, they've added some additional narrative elements to this as well. So they upgraded the rift system. And there'll be corrupted biomes, so you get random areas which will be visible at the start of each run. So you attack them and you upgrade your challenge and attain improved rewards, or you can avoid them and stick to the safety of the known. So I think, again, it kind of adds to that longevity of the game. There's new skins as well, and emote options, which is really cool, and there's even upgraded mounts. So yes, one thing you'll see in a moment is that you do actually get to have some mounts in this as well. So again, very Golden Axe style in that, and this is where you choose your characters, by the way. So briefly there, you're going on the campfire. So I've now swapped to Karl, and then you can also play online, as you just saw there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start the run for a second time and see how we get on. And again, Karl is slightly different. He's a bit more slower, but he's more powerful, and he has some stronger shots as well. But yeah, I mean, this is just, a brilliant game. And I think, like if they continue to do updates like this as well, with, corrupted biomes and new emotes and skins and mounts and rewards, I think, and even the fixes, right? So, I mean, people have obviously been a bit, they've suggested there's some areas of the game that they'd like to see improved. I think this game could be, really one of those long-term projects that, you keep coming back to and coming back to. Again, similar to how, Hades and other titles have progressed and evolved over time as well, like with their roguelike elements. But, yeah, this one is, particularly for me, it's just... because I loved, side-scrolling beat-em-ups. Like I used to play Streets of Rage 2, like I mentioned, the Turtles arcade games. All of those types of games were just something that I loved as a kid. But I love the style of animation, again, with Streets of Rage 4 that was introduced. You can see also as well, there's quite an extensive map, so your aim is to go ahead and kill Azra, and then you basically explore all the regions. And you've got multi-choice options, again, very roguelite. So I'm going to take the trip down to the beach here, but you could have gone through the thickets of the forest there. So I'm going to wander the coast, and yeah, we've got and as a result, you'll get different enemies from that. You different progresses your routes in different ways. Yeah, I just love the style of this. It's so stunning, even the way that you feel he feels pain, and like the animations on his face and the expressions, yeah, really well done. And I can see why it's won some awards too. I mean, I think that's always the key thing to me, when you can see a game has won awards, and you can see that it's compelling to people, and they just enjoy looking at the way that things have been put together. Yeah, it helps so much. I mean, the game has been played by over 500,000 people already. This was back, they announced this back in January. So I mean, obviously, there's definitely been some interest there already. But I feel like this is a game that just deserves, and hopefully as well, we'll see long-term support for this one as well. I feel like there's definitely a desire to do that, and there's ways you can just take this to progress this onward and onward. So yeah, I mean, it feels like as well to me that it's not an early access game. Like, this is a complete start to finish title, but it doesn't need to be branded in that way, right? Yeah, and you can see as well, like a pick up and throw there. I can use that as a more powerful shot. And yeah, equally with that as well, like you've got just like the power-ups you can pick up and things along the way. But I think in general, this game just... Oh yeah, and it also scores you, by the way. So you noticed there it said like repetitive and overpressure. So like for instance, if you do keep using the same moves over and over, it does diminish your score a little bit. So you have to think about combinations, make things interesting. And just and obviously you can pick things up and throw them. So I've got like a dagger to use there, which I can use in a pinch as well. But I think it just, the diversity and range of the combat is just interesting to me. So it's a really well made game, and equally like mentioning with this one as well. So obviously you've got it's essentially like I'll tell you a bit of the story actually. So Tamar has been shattered by a magical cataclysm caused by ambitious wizards, leaving magic mistrusted by the common folk. So the characters in this game who you play, the wizards are not really, they're seen a bit outcasted and a bit shunned. So for instance, if you go into a bar, you're like, oh, I'd rather not see this. Or you go into someone's house, like, oh my god, it's worse than the ogres and the trolls, it's a wizard. So you're not really seen in the best and most positive of lights, which makes this quite an interesting play on the game. So the Sun King Azra took advantage of this panic. He enslaved wizards through the Crimson Order and placed loyal princes to rule over the conquered realms. So it's kind of like a vibe of, you know, like the people feel safe by this, you know, corrupt regime, and so these wizards are trying to change the perception around that a little bit. So Azra's forces claim more and more lands. The High Enchantress Uchawi and a small group of rebels rise from the shadows, wielding forbidden magic to challenge his oppressive regime and defy his absolute magic power. And so you are the outcast heroes. You also saw there as well, I got a nice little upgrade, or I'm about to get a nice little upgrade. So yeah, you can, and this is again like the roguelike element, so you can suffer 50% damage on impact hits, which I'm going to go for, I think. And those chains are available throughout the world as well, so you know, basically you can spot these on the map and it sort of leads you to the next route, where the next one is placed. So I mean, these are always like, you know, as you go from screen to screen, these are the things that will help you prolong your run, right? So I mean, if you can get through that really tough scrappy scene where it feels like, you know, you're on the limits, there you go, there's another crystal located there at the bottom there, so you can see that's where the next place I should head. If you can get through those tougher screens, then yeah, you know, you never know, like this crystal could potentially prolong that run even further than you had anticipated if things look a bit rough and dicey. Just love the diversity in environments as well. Like, you know, like I've gone from the coast and I'm like, and it naturally feels like now I'm progressing towards a village and there's lots of ruins and, you know, there's like structures and buildings, and everything has just been put together in a nice way. So these elements, these are kind of like your little save spots, right? So essentially this is going to help you basically like rest up. You're going to get some health. You're going to get some like additional power-ups, and it's just going to be able to like increase your, like, if you feel a bit rough and down, then you can actually get your health back up as well. So yeah, it's a great spot to just kind of like rest up and just catch your breath for a moment. And then you can pick up a carrot there you go. So now I'm basically full health, which is great, and it feels like, you know, I don't feel like I'm ready to take on the world again. But obviously the challenges will increase as you progress. So yeah, let's run through this. And again, you know, like, so you're seeing a bit of an example of this here. You've got the orcs and the humans fighting each other, but they all want to fight you, right? So it's kind of like that, this sort of oppressive thing where, you know, you are just going to you are basically the target of everyone, which is, you know, not great, but you know, it's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. So yeah, for instance, Karl, as we're playing here, he's the last free dwarf of Talam. He's armed with an ancestral blunderbuss and his bare fist. He's a master of close range brawls and explosive attacks. And this is the mount I was telling you about. There you go. So you can kind of butt people with this. It's really, really fun. Again, very golden axe in that sense. What he lacks in reach and mid-range, he makes up for with raw strength and quick thinking, making him a stalwart ally in the revolt against Azra's oppression. And then you've also got Galandra, who we were playing earlier, so she's an unstoppable force of nature. Her colossal sword strikes of deadly precision combined with chilling, destructive, necromantic powers. So yeah, she's really like a badass in that sense. And my preferred character, to be honest, but I am enjoying playing as Karl as well. So her calm demeanour is a thin veil, barely concealing the furious anger brewing inside her. But there is also an additional hero who we won't see in this video. It's Brome, who's a wizard prodigy on a mission to preserve the future generations of his people, as well as the enigmatic Cider, who's a nimble skirmisher in search of answers among the scattered fragments of their own souls. So again, you know, you can really mix this game up with more and more characters, each with different abilities. So yeah, it's just, I think what I love about this, it's a combination of all things. It's the art and the animation, it's the fun gameplay elements, but it's equally just the you know, just the replayability of this as well, right? So I think it puts so many different things together in one beautiful spot. So yeah, I really appreciate it. So I'm just actually I'm progressing through this now. So shortly we're going to come to a boss battle. Which is you'll kind of really get to see a little bit more of the tense moment-to-moment gameplay there. I think that's one of the things where, like, you know, picking up objects and, you know, throwing them and using them to your advantage, like this axe here, for example, is really, really good. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to enter this house first, I think, just to kind of take a little look in there. So I like as well, you can go off the beaten track a little bit. There you go, see, not a goblin, but worse a wizard. So, you know, they've thrown some feature to get you up the house. Yeah, thanks, guys. One of the best things for me about it, agreed. I just had a massive sort of grim barbecue last night, and yeah, fully can confirm that. So yeah, I mean, the action as well, like, you know, throwing things really helps. You notice that character then has, because he's got armor on, so I'm having to penetrate his shield before I can really do a dent on his health bar. So that's a really cool way as well of, like, you know, making some tougher enemies in the fight and in the fray. And it doesn't help when they just pop out the screen randomly at you, right? So, but it's just all that classic style. And again, you can see how this would suit cooperative gameplay when you've got multiple of you just like kind of like fighting the enemies all at one time. But in some respects, I feel like I'm getting some help anyway from these who are also fighting the goblins and orcs on me. So thank you, guys. It's you know, it feels really nice to play, and I think that's one of the key things about this as well, is that, you know, these kinds of games, when you are playing them, you know, it can feel a little bit like ropey. The movement doesn't feel as fun, or it doesn't look as great. And honestly, if you haven't played this yet, I can confirm it just feels good to play. It feels entertaining. So this is the boss character I was telling you about. And I love this little introduction here, where it's just like, yeah, here we go. Stonedale will not falter. It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? How, you know, you've basically got humans fighting humans here as well as orcs. Oh, I love this little guy. He's just going to try and sneak up. No, he is not. He was trying to do a sneak attack, and no. So yeah, we're going to fight Rudolf, the captain of Stonedale. So you can see he's obviously got a big shield and lots of defense there, and he's using that to repel me backwards as well. So we're just going to try and break through that shield and avoid those very long strikes which cover the entire length of the battlefield. Deadly proper strikes. Oh, and of course we get some ads as well, because of course we do. Of course we do. Big boss man cannot handle it on his own, even though I've barely put a dent in his health. So yeah, we need to get rid of the shield in order to do any damage here, I think. That's just what we're trying to do. And that axe really deals a punch. But here we go, so I'm going to pick up some... there you go. So there goes that shield, and that's really weakened him down there. But yeah, you can see that, you know, I've had to use the stones to kind of help me a little bit there. Get through some of these ads. Oof, I am not doing too good on the health front, so we'll see how we get on here. Throw a stone. Getting in up close. I think that's the thing with these, getting in up close, because we use his power rather than let them get their range. Yeah, he's getting a bit angry. He's getting a bit angry, but yeah, we can get him down. And you can see already now that shield is gone. Like, it makes him more susceptible to strikes and such. So he's definitely not he's not feeling too good right now. But neither am I. So it's going to be a tight one. Yeah, but I like the way that diversifies the attack as well. So, you know, it doesn't make it so straightforward. And you can see some of the you know, some of the upgrades that I've got as well have also helped this. You know, he's burning a little bit there, which kind of takes some additional health off. Oh, I feel like I'm cheesing him a bit here, guys, but you know what? I feel like he's earned it after all the ads he just dumped on me. So there we go, put him right down, and the fire is doing its thing. Yeah, I feel like we're in control of this. There we go. Rudolf, the red-headed guard, is gone. And we get a nice big upgrade from that one as well, because he was a mighty foe. So you get to grow stronger from doing that as well, which is great. So we're going to break this, and now we can inherit strikes. So strike 3 times in the air, or Arcana can charge to deal 50%. Yeah, I think we'll go with that one. So yeah, I think we're just going to kind of like, we're going to wrap this up soon, but I just really wanted to show you kind of the initial areas of this game, and how much I love it. Absolum is just such a blast, you know, and you're really getting a good feel for this game, I think, now by watching it in motion, as well as like listening to me talking about it a little bit. It's one of my favorite recent indie titles. It's weird. It feels like it's both been extremely popular, but also maybe a little bit overlooked in some respects. I feel like it's a game more people should be checking out. It's just such an original take, and I think it combines 2 very popular genres, right? With beat 'em ups and roguelites. So yeah, you can get some health here as well. This is kind of like, you know, a little stopgap. And mention the mercenary. Here you go. So you can actually, this is where you recruit the mercenary as well. So you can just hire them for 50 coins. It's probably worth it, to be honest, because you know, it's only going to get harder, right, as the journey goes on. And this is also a little shop area as well, which you can pick up some things as well. So you can see each of these has different abilities of movement speed, damage received, and received attacks have a chance of being evaded. So I think we'll get rid of that. We're pretty much out of coins now, but yeah. So this is Absolum. Oh, here we go. This is an interesting. This is Cider, as we mentioned earlier. So I feel like Cider is there's gonna be some conversations, more conversations to be had with Cider in the future, I think. But there you go. So you got a nice little tick there. There's little quests that will appear, similar to Hades again, where like as you encounter things and you see things in the game, you'll get a real feel for progress and being able to do more and more things and increase your hub. And this is the death screen. So obviously I've sped the run up a little bit so you can see things here, but this is the death screen, and this just shows the progress I ended up making. I didn't go much further after this video, but I just feel it's a good point to wrap it up here because I think it might run a bit too long. But this is Absolum, and you can see what I did on that run there, and you can also see as well from the radiance that you also level up based on how you progressed and what you did throughout that run. I nearly got level 3, but then you'll also see in a moment that it increases the ability of my hub. So yeah, it's just standard roguelike fare, but with that nice beat 'em up side-scrolling twist. So if any of that sounds appealing to you, you should absolutely check this out and just support original IP. I think that more than anything else, support original ideas, because they don't come around too often sometimes, and they certainly are not as well executed as this. So yeah, it's pretty much available in all formats. So wherever you play games, you can probably find Absolum. And it's just it's just so striking to me. Like, I'm looking at its art style now and I'm thinking this is just drawing me in such a great way. Yeah, so, and this is just adding that radiance that I just gathered onto the totem. And yeah, we'll call it there. Thanks so much for watching.